This is the most sacred day, and this is all about those who didn't come home, and 85,000 who are still missing in action. And there's no Democrats, no Republicans, no anything today, there's just Americans. And we're here to honor those who didn't get back, but also to remember that their families have to be remembered and honored every day. And too often we forget that, or we draw in our heads and say, whoa, I'm not going to say anything. Well, it's better to say something. Anyway, we're going to start with an opening prayer by Father Vernon, who is the Peekskill Fire Department chaplain. And that's going to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by the Chief of Police's Secretary, Celia Grabowicki. And that's going to be followed by the Peekskill singers, the high school singers, and we have the high school band here, and we have about 42 kids gave up their time to come here, and that's what makes us really feel good. That's, there are replacements, we know that, and they're a damn good bunch of replacements. Father Vernon?
Right behind. I'm covered.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. My dear friends, today we are here to honor those that have served our country and given their lives so that we may stand here and still live in freedom. We need to be constantly reminded of our gift of freedom and of those who gave all to make sure future generations continue to know life in a free society. Remembering those who have passed is only half of the task that is before us today. We must also carry their love, honor, and duty forward to the future generations that will pass. Our children must know who they were, what they did, and why they did it. To do anything less will be a disservice to their sacrifice and their memories. Those that are gone created a clear pathway for us to continue on. We must never waver from that path of freedom, take their memories, take their dreams, and walk forward shouldering the cause of freedom. Carry it high and proud. They did, and now we must walk forward for them and for our own children. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Celia? Celia here?
Yeah, right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Raise hands. Out.
place a wreath at every monument at the Monument Park, but because of the restrictions today, we're going to be placing 2 wreaths out at the flagpole, and we will have the wonderful group of singers join in during this ceremony. And after the wreaths are placed, we'll be reading the names of all of the deceased members from the post and all of the names that are on the monuments up at the park of those who have died in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and recent wars.
Ready now?
Let's proceed.
Please read. Go this way, please.
Yep.
The reading that I will do will be members that were lost in 2016 and 2017. Jack Burns, Patrick Donohue, Hugh Lockhart, John Schubert, George Smith Jr., Nolan Womble.
Now, our first Deputy Post Commander Mel Woods will be reading the names that are on the monuments at Monument Park.
First, I'll be reading World War I. Roy E. Adams, Cortland Baxter, James Bell, Lauren Craig, Matthew Cunningham, Clarence Curry, Cornelius Daly, Roland Donnelly, Stephen Donnelly, Thomas Gaines, David Griffin, William Hall, Pearlie Hopkins, Joseph Kennedy, Louis Moretta, Lawrence McKiskin, Raymond Moore, Matthew Osteen, Cornelius Reagan, John G. Segnet, William Story, Fred Valentine Jr. World War II. Bertram Archie, John Astrid, John Berta, Russell Beskin, Thomas Boyle, Lester Conklin Jr., John Cox, Sheldon Craddock, Harold Kruger, Paul Dodis, Royal Diaz, George Entlin, Lee Farris, John Fisher Jr., Stephen Foreman, Everett Gothel, Saul Gerlich, Theodore Groch, Vincent Highland, Lopez Hoffman, David Kelly, Richard Lent, Donald McCrae, Thomas McGee, Franklin Miller, George A. Miller Jr., Charles Minor, Charles Nehart. World War II continues. Frederick Nehart, Alfred Remus, Edward Reihart, Charles Robert, Thomas Rowe, John Solero, Anthony Scaramella, George Seaman, Raymond Smallheiser, Fred Smith, Frank Snyder, John Squires, William Stern, Paul Pepper. Dane Timko, Bernard Tim, William Valletto, Joseph Williams, and Aaron Wise. Korean War. Frederick Tuttle and Charles Williams. Vietnam. Arthur C. Chase, William T. Dorsey, John Hudson, William Kelly Jr., John Martin, Robert Irwin, John Lockhart, Mitchell Povey, Harold McDonald, Chester Moser, Douglas Mowbray, Lawrence Osborne, Bruce Reed, Michael Amato, Baron Creed, and Frank Bichard. Thank you.
Now we're going to have taps played by Mr. John Hahn, the leader of the high school band, or someone from the high school band. He's been replaced by one of the replacements. now happy to have Mel present an award to this next young lady. We had an essay contest, a patriotic contest, what Memorial Day means to me. And it was won by this young lady, Ariana Hurtado, who I don't have the biographical information, but I can tell you that she's an exemplary student, president of the class, her class there, and she's just a wonderful person, and I think you'll judge for yourself when you read what she wrote. And she's getting a $250 award for this, and we'll have a similar award every year at the high school, and we're going to up the amount. Ariana?
Memorial Day is a day during the year that some may overlook. However, on this very important day, we are reminded of three things: the meaning of strength, the ability to face fear bright in its eyes, and what the true definition of courage is. This isn't just a 3-day weekend. It is a moment to reminisce, celebrate, and honor our fallen soldiers. Those same soldiers that have protected our freedom, this sacred privilege called freedom. The freedom we sometimes forget has been nothing other than persistence, blood, sweat, tears, and loss. I'm not an individual who has been directly affected because of a relative who has passed, but I without a doubt have a connection for those who have stood for us and have put their heart and soul for our legal rights. In all honesty, there were moments where I didn't take into account what Memorial Day truly stood for. And now I've realized what exactly I've been missing out on. There's an abundant amount of history, memories, and death and struggle. Why is it that we remember and celebrate holidays such as Valentine's Day or Halloween, and not something meaningful like Memorial Day? I'm hesitant to admit this, but I've never celebrated this special day until last year. After extensive research, not only was I well educated, but found a new admiration for this astonishing day of the year. At times, adolescents, or maybe even adults, can overlook this day, possibly because it doesn't affect them personally. This day is a day that we might be off from school or work, but it is much more than that. Even though I may not have a relative who has been killed in the war, I think perpetually about our fallen soldiers and their sacrifices for our rights, our freedom, and our country. Memorial Day is a special day to me and has impacted my views tremendously. During the duration of my life, I've been taught to stand up for what you believe in, even if you're standing alone. And I continue to abide by this saying in my everyday life. I've been an active activist and advocate for over 7 years, and every moment is full of passion and drive. I plan to spread my knowledge onto others on why Memorial Day is a day to reflect and celebrate those who have fought endlessly for our rights and freedom. This day is truly one of my favorite holidays because I'm able to extend to my peers my knowledge and opinion of why this significant day is so important to celebrate. I have no words for the love and gratitude I have for our fallen soldiers and their families, other than thank you. Thank you for fighting when you didn't want to, fighting when you were in your weakest state, and fighting to stay strong for your families. I will forever celebrate this holiday and will try my best for others to do the same. That will be my everlasting mission. Thank you.
On behalf of the American Legion, I'll be Post 274. We want to present you with this blue token for the essay that you wrote. It was excellent.
And I'm not trying to drag it out, but I do want to mention one significant fact because otherwise I'll get daggerized from one of the people who happens to be the president of our auxiliary. This is the 100-year anniversary of World War I, and don't anyone forget, because that was the one that, you know, set the pace and did everything that said, it's our country and we're going to defend it, and we continue to defend it today. And I feel sorry for the people that don't respect the flag and don't respect Memorial Day, fly the flag upside down and protest this thing or that thing. And I ask for prayers for those misguided individuals, some of whom are leaders in our community. It's sad, but it doesn't apply to the people here, and thank God it doesn't. And by the way, without Bob Bodie, I wouldn't be able to be here, and I wouldn't be able to do anything here. And he's not talking much today, and he's probably seething at the pace I'm setting and what I'm doing, but I have to tell you, Bob Bodie is the backbone of this organization, not me. Mel and all the rest of it. Now we're going to have a special performance by Tim Murphy. Tim Murphy is not only a Vietnam veteran, he's a fellow that has supported and backed us in every situation and every event that we've had. And I'm hoping Tim will be here and write a special song in 2 years. And I want to stay alive, because in 2019, this post will be 100 years old. And we'll be celebrating 100 years in Peekskill as an American Legion post. And the American Legion only started in 1919. So anyway, Tim.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to extend my most sincere thanks and congratulations to the Peekskill High School Band, to the Peekskill High School Choir, and their teachers. I'll tell you, their performance was Super Bowl worthy, I think, and it certainly did this old soldier's heart good to hear, and just fills me with all sorts of hope and pride for all of us. And Ms. Hurtado, well done, well spoken, words we can all be proud of and certainly adhere to. John mentioned that I am a Vietnam veteran. I was there in 1968 and 1969 with the 4th Infantry Division. The song I'm going to share with you is one I wrote a couple of years ago. I was commissioned to do a performance at a concert in Springfield, Massachusetts. And at that particular concert, soldiers and sailors from 3 different conflicts, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, were presented with the Purple Heart. And at that time, maybe there are more songs like that now, but there wasn't a song about the Purple Heart. The Purple Heart is one of the most revered combat medals in America. And revered, but one of the most revered, but one of the least desired, because to earn this, you either bleed or die. So this is the Purple Heart.